I did it.
Well, good day and welcome to this special Island Stat Sports Talk. I'm your host, Earl Basin. Joining me is Senior Men's National Coach Michael Findlay. Coach, we might as well say we're on the eve of this World Cup campaign. It is started by the Bermuda Football Association. The final stage of the campaign gets underway in a matter of a few weeks. They had a press conference earlier this week and talked about some significant things coming up, ticket sales and so forth. But one of the most interesting things from a coaching standpoint was the VAR. Give us your perception of this system, because I know everybody has an opinion on it, and I really want to hear your thoughts on the VAR and what possibilities.
Well, always, you're always for VAR when it's in your favor, aren't you, Earl? So, no, my personal view is from a purist point of view, and I guess I'm aging myself a little bit. I wish VAR wasn't part of our game. I think it has changed the game from a purist point of view. However, I'm also a realist and understand that, the world changes, the world evolves. Technology has become an integral part of football globally. And that has been an incredible benefit to football globally, both from a development point of view, broadcast point of view, from the fans' point of view. So that is part and parcel of the growth of the game. I think what we're finding when you look at VAR is the process in which it is being implemented, and it's so important for the training, the process of putting it in place to make sure it's done correctly, because that is when you're going to see the real benefits. It's when you struggle to find consistency. That's what frustrates fans. That's what frustrates players. That frustrates coaches. But it is a reality of our game, and it has shown on a number of occasions to benefit and assist the referee in game situations, which they never would be able to do before. So that's kind of where I sit on this.
One of the things that obviously would be a concern for a coach such as yourself is that your players are not used to the system. They've only seen it in operation while watching other games, per se. Having them to understand now that everything that's done on the field has consequences because we're using this system, because they're not just using it for goal line technology, they're using it for various other issues as well. Late tackles, off the ball to improve to the correct calls sort of thing. So obviously it's going to be a different message to your players to understand that now not just in the spectators' eyes are only, but you got more eyes.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's one of the beautiful parts of our success right now, is that we are starting to enter another level of competition, and another level of competition like World Cup qualifying final round comes with benefits and consequences, but also an opportunity to participate at the highest level. Just as you said, the VAR can be used in basically 4 decisions in the process. It's goals, related offenses, PKs, red cards, missed identities, and obviously it's based on clear and obvious errors on the pitch. Yes, the players have to be aware of that. I think it'll be part of our engagement with the players to make sure they understand the realities of the maturing process at this level of international football. I would say we always have a very strong internal rules and regulations about being aware of their surroundings and making sure that their decisions don't impact the team in a negative way by making a silly decision off the ball or committing a foul that really is not one that can be interpreted either way. So yeah, it'll be part of our ongoing discussions, and that they'll be aware of that. And everybody has to be aware of that, both teams. And and it'll be about how we manage those situations if they come into play during these matches over the final round.
Yeah. When we look at getting into these stages, because obviously you've indicated, when you move up extra levels comes different challenges, different responsibilities, all these new things. But how are you and your team managing just that? Because now there's a different set of expectations. But how are you guys managing, especially the coaching staff?
Yeah, well, first and foremost, we're excited about it. This is what we have planned for. This is what we had hoped for the players, for the fans, is that they get an opportunity to witness international football at this level. Our process really hasn't changed, other than making sure that the players understand that, guess what, you've been invited to a new location, shall we say, with another level of service and another level of quality, and you should take advantage of that situation. We have also been very, I think, focused with the players at this moment in time about continually keeping our mantra that we've always have in place inside the team. We are looking for players who are committed. They have character and they're compliant to what is needed. This has been the push within the group for 2025. And then we'll have our own internal camp type monitors and mantras. But yeah, we're excited, and we've just gone about our business and making sure that we're organized, we're ready. And look, we're the team that's supposedly not supposed to be there. I read some articles the other day, where they were talking about final round in some of these other countries. They don't even seem to mention Bermuda. So we're quite happy about being in that position. And we're going to make sure we're prepared, and the players get an opportunity to put their best foot forward.
The fact that you've been in this environment before, as in your previous jobs, setting up a country that primarily has somewhat part-time footballers trying to accomplish something very few have done before, and from a small nation as in that as well. How does preparing the team work this time around for you? Because last, when you was with Canada, obviously you had more professionals, full-time footballers. So it's a different challenge for you, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's funny because I think that was part of the attraction to Bermuda for me, was the opportunity to do something different, to take on a challenge, to take into account all of the off-field and on-field challenges that exist for someone like Bermuda and other MAs within the CONCACAF region, specifically the Caribbean region. It's incredibly challenging, and for both the players, for the coaching staff, for the member association itself. So, we've kind of taken it on, and every time we've made a step forward, sometimes we've made a couple of steps back, but every time we made a step forward, we celebrate that and say, okay, we're on task. We're trying to build an organization and a pathway for players of the future. And this is an opportunity for us to maybe put that flag in the ground and be seen as more than just a small nation in the middle of the Atlantic with a limited population and lacking a professional league, that's the way we're seen at this moment in time.
Yeah, definitely. The availability of players obviously is always a concern because we don't have a big pool to pick from. Making sure that everybody is available, especially to get us to a good start, get off to a good start, because we're home against Jamaica before traveling to Curacao.
Yeah.
looking at that, what is you, or have you heard of any injuries ahead of the camp that you would have before the tournament starts?
We're currently in a very good position from our point of view as it relates to everybody who's available, who we would wish to be available.
Mm-hmm.
Decisions have been made in many fronts. Some decisions still have to be made. I actually can't even tell you, but the BFA will be releasing the squad probably late next week, I believe. I can't remember. But currently, right now, the players that we have targeted over this period of time and during this journey to get here are all available for selection. Now it comes down to myself and the rest of the staff to decide at this moment in time what we feel the best group is to take on Jamaica and Curacao, because be aware that may change throughout each of the windows in October and November, given the opponent. Given the status of some of the players, as you just mentioned, injury does come into it. Availability, it may be tactical, and it may be obviously performance based. If we're not happy with someone, we may have to make a change. So these are 3 windows that will be focused as individual windows with individual decisions in terms of what we feel is best. But to answer your question. We're in a pretty good position right now in terms of availability and health in that regard.
Yeah, good. The good thing is that I saw where Curacao will be announcing their squad tomorrow. So it'll be an opportunity to have a look and see, what type of opposition, because we're going to travel to them, obviously, for the second match.
Yeah, we, in relations to that, we're pretty happy too about how the draw came out. In our September, October, November window, we will start at home in all 3 of those windows, which gives us a great amount of assistance, specifically around travel and also being able to gather people for a couple of days before the matches. Because a lot of what we're doing right now is remote, right? With players, the large amount of our squad is in the UK, and then we're talking with the ones who are domestically based. We have a long list, and then we'll shrink it down into our short list for each of the windows. But so we're going to be in a good position to be able to see what Curacao is doing with regards to their selections, and I'm sure they'll be strong. I actually think they're one of the strongest ones at this moment in time in the region. They've shown really good growth inside their national teams programming, and it's going to be an enormous challenge.
Yeah, when we look at game by game, obviously we have 6 games, 3 home, 3 away, and the games are back to back. And I know everybody says we should look at one game at a time and do that, but the emphasis on, because you have 2 games in such short space of time to make a difference, kind of thing. How, as a coach, how do you plan out how you want to play each game in the window? Because obviously you want to really do well at home, you want to but you also want to do well on the road, but you got to put emphasis. Do you put emphasis on one game, or are you looking at both games for the squad?
This is why the preamble and the preparation is so important. It's pretty easy to see, football, there's no liars in football and there's no secrets in football anymore. We've designed a game model around this group that we thought was going to be successful. And so far it has provided us these opportunities to play in these meaningful games and move forward into the final round of World Cup qualifying. Inside that game model, there's flexibility depending on what the opponent is and how we feel we should apply ourselves. And that doesn't change. So inside the window, we can flip-flop back and forth between some of what we consider our best tactical setups, which is based on the opponent. Obviously, who you're playing is going to dictate potentially how you play. And what we know is that our goal obviously is to qualify for the World Cup. But our goal, if you shrink it down into a match-by-match situation, is to have good moments in each of these games that provide us the best opportunity to get results, right? And that's what's really critical at at this point, is getting results every time you play in these games, because at the end of the day, the points are going to be what's going to determine your success, like any football league, because that's what it really is now. It's a 6-game league. And so we need points. So we like to shrink these down into moments in the game. And when we win a moment in the game, that's a tick mark, and we move to the next moment in the game. So you have the big picture, and then you shrink it down into these smaller pictures, and it helps the players understand that, if I have a good 15 minutes here, there's a really good opportunity that I'm going to have another good 15 minutes. I continue to apply myself the way I'm doing this, and do it within the tactical setup that we've designed for this group, and that's really how we go about doing it.
Yeah, one thing about Bermudians, very emotional, that we get caught up in the high intensity of things when they're around. And one of the things is that we know that the players and the fans will be feeling the pressure because we're so close. And it's down to controlling emotions, especially the emotions on the field. What are some of the things that you guys have been working with the players to ensure that their personality comes out, but their emotions kind of stay intact, to allow them to be the best player they can be for the day, for the team, for the country?
Well, that's been part of our I guess education. They've seen certain scenarios such as this before, but what we've tried to sort of engage with them and make sure they're focused on is their maturity level. That they're now playing at a level that's going to demand, yes, fight, number one. And you'll hear me say this a lot. The first thing you have to do in international football is fight. Whether you're fighting for position, fighting for the ball, fighting your opponent, fighting to get selected, fighting against the tide of a crowd or on the wrong side of a referee, whatever it is, fight is critical. So the good news is that you just said, Bermudians are emotional people, but they're also fighters, and they will stand up for what they believe in. And this group has shown that they can do that. Cuba was a prime example of that for us, is that, that was a very difficult situation to be in. It was not the most beautiful game of football I've ever seen, but because there was so much on the line, and we stood up for each other in those situations, and we fought. But we also have to understand that has to come with the realities of what can come from not being able to control your emotions. So that has been indoctrinated into them. There's going to be situations where it occurs, and it has occurs, and we will be punished for that, as will other teams. But we have to make sure they understand that, every moment that they're on the pitch, they have to be in control of their emotions in that regard. So that doesn't mean you can't be competitive and fight for what we're trying to achieve, but you have to understand how important that emotional stability is at this level of play.
Well, Coach, I want to thank you for joining me. I know you're probably got a lot of pen to paper right now. And
okay, Earl, what position do you play again?
Left back off the field.
Okay, not a problem. Got your pen. Yeah, the fitness test is this weekend, so no, really, yeah, you're right. A lot of pen to paper, a lot of organization that's going on behind the scenes that nobody sees, right. But everybody is extremely excited. We're really happy for the fans, and there's nothing more than these players and this staff want to do, and the BFA want to do is to deliver great performances and make Bermuda proud, and along the way get the results we're looking.
Sure. All right. Well, we'll see you when you arrive and you start to get ahead of the Jamaica game, and then we head off to Curacao. So, and then it's a time to regroup and rethink and look at where we are and standings. Like I said, it's maybe the best team. Hopefully, it's us advanced out of the group. So,
you bet.
Yeah.